Hello, my name is Oiza. Welcome to Cable Plus Property. At Cable Plus Property, our aim is to make sure that you're sensitized and enlightened about everything you need to know on your land and landed property, particularly about documentation, protection, processing planning documents, and getting your property protected by the government agency at your land of residence or wherever your property is located. We want you to have access to information and all that you need to know about property and land. And so in this program, we'll be having town planners and professionals in the built environment, particularly in Lagos State, as our case study to come talk to you and also enlighten you about everything. In this video, I'll be having a question and answer session with the National President of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, Town Planner Olutoyin Adedamola. Come with me. Today we're here to celebrate our father, a renowned professional in the field of town planning, a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, former commissioner in the Lagos State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, and the current national president of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, in person of Town Planner Olutoyin Adedamola Ayinde, for his immense contribution to the field of planning and to acquire from his wealth of knowledge through this medium by educating the public on some mind-boggling issues on planning as it relates to the advantages of having a planning permit before construction, of which most developers detest. Welcome, sir. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Can you speak a little on the penalty?
I don't know what the rates are now, but in those days, it ranged from 4 times what you will have paid normally to 10 times, depending on the situation. You know, so they could ask you to pay 4 times of what the penalty would be. Sometimes they look at the level of development. If it's not a full development, and if on compassionate basis, they might look at the level of development you have gone. 4 times of that rate, that's what you pay. But I tell people, it's better not to develop illegally because it's stressful having to, there are a lot of better things you could put your money into than paying penalties.
So from your experience, why do you think people develop without a planning permit? What could be the reasons?
Some will claim ignorance, but ignorance is no excuse in law. Secondly, I think there is just this penchant for let's do it, you know. And some people think it's expensive. And I tell people like that you can compare that with education and ignorance. You know, some people say that if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. So the truth is that it's more expensive not going for planning approval, because by the time you are discovered, you now pay more than you are supposed to pay. So but sometimes those are the reasons that people give.
Is it possible to withdraw a planning permit? And if yes, why?
Planning permits have been withdrawn on occasions, and it's possible to withdraw them if they were granted through misrepresentation. If false information was provided, that means the planning office was misled to grant the planning permit. Of course, it will be withdrawn.
Is that the only reason why it can be withdrawn?
Predominantly, because even if you have built legally and government is probably expanding a road to deliver a right of way, it doesn't invalidate your approval. The other thing is if government is acquiring an area, they can make your certificate of occupancy can be withdrawn, but I don't think it's the building plan that is withdrawn.
As a former commissioner of the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development and the current national president of Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, what would you advise to the general public to avoid problems of planning permits?
I want to advise government before general public. I want to advise government to take ownership of governance. Government must do its part. Government must prepare the plans. Government must implement the plans. And it is in doing this that you can now be asking members of the general public to follow the plan. Because where there is no fiscal development plan within which to put the building plan, it amounts to putting something on nothing. So first, government needs to invest seriously on preparation of development plans at the various levels and then implement them, because you can have a plan and put it on the shelf for 10 years. It remains a plan. But if you implement it, then other people can now begin to contribute development. It is the responsibility of government to plan. It is the responsibility of the other people to develop. That's why you call the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development. Government plans, then everybody comes to develop. So it's advisable that we develop according to the plans that have been established by government.
So is that the only role the public has to play in a physical development plan in a state like Lagos?
In a state like Lagos, they ensure that their buildings are according to plan, and then they maintain them. And then there are facilities that are public. We should hold them as facilities that belong to us, so we can protect them. So there is nothing wrong in you accosting somebody who picks up a digger to dig across a road that has just been constructed. So many times we look at those public facilities and we think it belongs to government. But at the end of the day, we suffer for any abuse on some of them. So we must also protect public facilities as well as protect ours. And then do our civic duties. Pay your tax.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Cable Plus Property. Also, follow and like our posts on Instagram and Facebook at Cable Plus Property. So we come away again next time. My name is Oiza, and this is Cable Plus Property.